Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the National Civil War Naval Museum and another episode of Curator's Corner. I'm Jeff Seymour, historian and curator here at this great facility. And you may be wondering what I'm doing with a sharp implement in my hands. Well, my coworkers are always worried when I run around with sharp things in my hands. I don't really run around. It's like running around with scissors. Don't do that. This is a recent acquisition we're very proud of, and for those of you with a discerning eye, you will notice that it is not a naval sword. It is actually a cavalry saber. It's got that nice swoop to it, used on horseback. And what in the world am I doing with a cavalry saber? Well, it's not the fact that it's a cavalry saber, it's the fact that it was produced right here in Columbus, Georgia. And if you've noticed this channel before, you know that Columbus was the second most important industrial site in the entire Confederacy, only behind Richmond, Virginia. Well, this particular sword was made right here in Columbus. And it was made at the Haiman Brothers Sword Factory. Haiman Brothers, led by the older brother Louis Haiman and his younger brother, who came to America from Prussia. They were born in an area that is now in Poland. But they came to America in the 1840s, and Louis Haiman opened up a tin factory. He was a tinsmith, which is important to what I'm going to show you about this sword. But this is a typical cavalry pattern sword. It's got that curve to it. It's got the brass guard around there. Basically a cloth handle though, and it's got wire around it to keep that cloth handle on there and so forth and so on. Now these early Haiman Brothers swords do not have markings on them, but you will notice that these early Haiman Brothers swords actually have some defects up near the throat. And when we take some close-up looks at the scabbard is iron, but you've got brass fittings around it. And remember, when handling swords, if you're going to put these in these antique scabbards, make sure that you grab the scabbard by the throat and return the sword to the scabbard this way. But anyway, remember the tinsmith. Louis Haiman was a tinsmith. Well, if we look at this side of the scabbard, you will notice that there is a seam that runs all the way down the length of the scabbard. This is because the shop, the factory, was actually geared towards tinsmithing. And this is a way that you roll the ends together, and then they're going to solder it together and smooth it down, which is why you have this rough edge on these Haiman Brothers swords. Now, of course, this is for enlisted men. The officers had much nicer ones, and Haiman Brothers actually got a good reputation for the swords that they produced. And of course, right here in Columbus. And odds are this is one of the cavalry sabers that went directly to the state of Alabama. The state of Alabama purchased their first contract of some 2,000 swords from Haiman Brothers, and they were delivered in 1861. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to put this into our new exhibit coming up about Columbus and its story and why it's so important and why there was a gunboat and an ironclad built here in Columbus. It's because of this industrial capacity, and this is just one piece of the puzzle that is Columbus. Thank you for joining us again for another episode of Curator's Corner right here at the National Civil War Naval Museum. And if you like our programs, please support us. Join us on our many social media platforms, YouTube, etc., etc., etc. But you know what? Visit us at our physical address located right here along the Chattahoochee River, 1002 Victory Drive in Columbus, Georgia. And visit us at our digital address, www.portcolumbus.org, where you can help support programs just like this.